Water pollution is poisoning our planet. It's killing marine life, polluting drinking water, and putting millions at risk. But what if I told you that the most dangerous pollutants aren't just plastic bottles or oil spills? What if the real threat is invisible, hiding in the water we drink, the food we eat, and the air we breathe? Today, we're diving into the hidden crisis of water pollution, how we got here, what's really at stake, and most importantly, how we can fix it before it's too late. Water is the essence of life, yet the very resource that sustains ecosystems, communities, and economies is under threat due to pollution. The contamination of water bodies, rivers, lakes, oceans, and groundwater has become a pressing environmental crisis with far-reaching consequences. This issue is not just about unsightly plastic floating in the ocean. It is about the toxic chemicals, excessive nutrients, and industrial discharges that disrupt aquatic ecosystems, endanger human health, and threaten sustainability. Understanding the causes, effects, and solutions of water pollution requires a deep dive into how human activities shape water quality and how sustainable approaches can mitigate the damage. At the heart of water pollution lies human activity. While natural processes like volcanic eruptions or algae blooms can contribute to water contamination, the vast majority of pollution stems from anthropogenic sources. Industrialization, urbanization, and modern agricultural practices have all played a role in introducing harmful substances into water bodies. One of the most pervasive sources of water pollution is industrial waste. Factories and manufacturing plants discharge chemicals, heavy metals, and toxins directly into rivers and oceans. In many cases, these pollutants include substances like lead, mercury, and cadmium, which persist in the environment for decades. The textile and chemical industries, for instance, are notorious for releasing dyes, solvents, and hazardous byproducts into nearby water bodies, affecting aquatic organisms and human populations downstream. Agriculture is another major contributor, particularly through nutrient pollution. The widespread use of fertilizers and pesticides results in nitrogen and phosphorus runoff, which enters rivers and lakes through rainfall and irrigation drainage. This excess of nutrients fuels harmful algal blooms, leading to the depletion of oxygen in water, a phenomenon known as eutrophication. Dead zones, such as the one in the Gulf of Mexico, emerge when aquatic life suffocates due to low oxygen levels, creating uninhabitable conditions for fish and marine species. Urbanization exacerbates water pollution in multiple ways. Cities generate enormous amounts of wastewater, often carrying household detergents, pharmaceuticals, and microplastics into the sewage system. In regions where wastewater treatment facilities are inadequate, untreated sewage can be released directly into rivers and oceans, posing significant health risks. Moreover, stormwater runoff from roads and parking lots picks up oil, heavy metals, and debris, channeling these pollutants into nearby streams. Plastics deserve special mention, as they have become one of the most visible and insidious forms of water pollution. Single-use plastics, from bottles to packaging, break down into microplastics, which are now found in the deepest parts of the ocean and even in drinking water. These microscopic particles infiltrate the food chain, with unknown long-term effects on human and animal health. The consequences of water pollution are profound, affecting both ecosystems and human societies. When pollutants enter a water system, they disrupt the delicate balance of life that sustains aquatic environments. Marine life, for instance, is particularly vulnerable to toxins that accumulate in the food chain. Heavy metals such as mercury, often originating from industrial processes, accumulate in fish and shellfish, eventually making their way to human consumers. Long-term exposure to these contaminants can cause neurological damage, birth defects, and even cancer. Beyond chemical pollution, pathogens and bacteria from untreated sewage pose severe health threats. In many developing nations, a lack of clean drinking water leads to outbreaks of waterborne diseases such as cholera, dysentery, and typhoid. According to the World Health Organization, millions of people die annually from preventable illnesses linked to contaminated water sources. This crisis is not just a matter of sanitation, it is a matter of human rights. Ecosystems suffer in equally devastating ways. Coral reefs, which support an estimated 25% of marine life, are particularly sensitive to water pollution. Agricultural runoff and sedimentation block sunlight and introduce harmful bacteria that weaken coral structures. Over time, reefs bleach and die, disrupting entire marine ecosystems that depend on their existence. Pollution also intensifies climate change-related challenges. Warmer waters accelerate algal blooms, reduce oxygen levels, and make certain pollutants even more toxic. Additionally, Contaminated water sources reduce the availability of safe drinking water, forcing communities to rely on energy-intensive filtration methods or costly bottled water alternatives. Water pollution is like that one messy roommate who never cleans up after themselves. Except instead of just dirty dishes, they're dumping toxic chemicals, sewage, and plastic into our water supply. And unfortunately, there's no eviction notice strong enough to make this problem just disappear. From factories releasing heavy metals into rivers, to farms flooding waterways with fertilizer runoff, humans have turned our oceans, lakes, and streams into chemical cocktails. Ever heard of dead zones? No, not the Wi-Fi kind. These are actual lifeless areas in the ocean where oxygen levels are so low that nothing can survive. And guess what's fueling them? Nutrient pollution from agricultural runoff, which triggers massive algal blooms that suffocate marine life. Meanwhile, microplastics are infiltrating everything, from the bellies of fish to our drinking water, meaning that fancy bottle of pure spring water might just come with an accidental side of plastic garnish. But it's not just the environment suffering. Millions of people around the world face serious health risks from contaminated water, with diseases like cholera and typhoid still running rampant in places where clean water isn't a given. The good news? We're not doomed just yet. Wastewater treatment plants are getting smarter, sustainable farming can reduce harmful runoff, and better laws can keep industries from treating rivers like their personal dumpsters. But policy changes mean nothing if we don't push for them, and personal habits, like cutting back on plastic use and properly disposing of chemicals, can make a bigger difference than you'd think. The reality is, we need to start treating water like the life support system it is, not just an unlimited resource we can afford to pollute. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. What's one small change you can make to help reduce water pollution? You can support us by subscribing if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.